Imagine a demon, right? But this one's not after your soul or anything like that. This one, it's guarding a tiny door. And get this, it might just have the power to rewrite the laws of physics. Sounds wild, right? Well, that's Maxwell's demon for you, a 150-year-old thought experiment that still has physicists scratching their heads. And today, we're diving deep into it right here, all based on this Wikipedia article on the subject. By the end of this deep dive, you'll get why this thought experiment is such a big deal, why it still matters after all this time. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. Picture two rooms. Got it. Okay, now fill them both with gas. Not just any gas, though. Imagine these gas molecules zipping around, each one with its own speed, bouncing off each other like bumper cars in a cosmic arcade. Now, separate these rooms with a tiny door, like microscopic tiny. And here's where our demon comes in. This tiny being posted up at this door, and it's got reflexes that would put a ninja to shame. But it's not just about speed with this demon. It's watching these molecules, seeing which ones are moving fast, those are hot ones, and which ones are lagging behind, those are the cold ones. And as they come zipping up to the door, this demon plays gatekeeper, opening and closing the door with lightning speed. Fast molecule from room A, come on into room B. Slowpoke molecule from room B, you're headed to room A. It's like a microscopic bouncer with a PhD in thermodynamics. So you're probably thinking, okay, what's the big deal? It's just sorting molecules, right? Well, here's where things get really interesting really fast.
See, what's really wild is that this whole sorting hot from cold, it seems to go against one of the most basic rules in physics, the second law of thermodynamics.
Okay, back up for a second. For those of us who haven't cracked open a physics textbook lately, what's the second law of thermodynamics all about?
Basically, it says that in any closed system, things tend to get messier over time. Think about it like this. Imagine trying to clean your house by just shoving all the clutter into one room. Sure, that one room might look organized, but the overall mess, it hasn't gone away.
Right, you've just moved the mess around, not gotten rid of it.
Exactly. And that's what we call entropy, a measure of disorder. The second law says that entropy, that disorder, can only increase over time.
So if our tiny demon IS actually pulling off this sorting act, separating hot and cold like that, it's creating order out of chaos.
You got it. And that seems to break the second law of thermodynamics.
Which would have some seriously wild implications for, well, everything, wouldn't it? But before we get into all that, I'm curious, where did this whole demon idea come from in the first place?
Well, it all started with a brilliant physicist named James Clerk Maxwell back in 1867.
1867, wow, that's going back a bit.
Yeah, but even back then, Maxwell was wrestling with some of the biggest questions in physics. Now, here's the thing. He didn't actually use the term demon.
Really? So where did that come from?
Well, he called it a finite being, something with smarts, intelligence, even beyond our own, but still bound by the laws of nature.
So not quite a demon, but something.
Right, and it wasn't until a few years later that another big name in physics, Lord Kelvin, came along and said, you know what? This finite being, it's kind of like a demon working behind the scenes, messing with the natural order. And the name just stuck.
I can see why Maxwell's demon has a better ring to it than Maxwell's finite being. But if it's just a thought experiment, why are we still talking about it over a century later? I mean, haven't physicists figured out a way to, let's say, exorcise this problem by now?
Well, let's just say it's a bit more complicated than that.
Oh, I love it when things get complicated. Lay it on me.
Okay, so while that initial setup, right, the demon, the door, the molecules, it seems pretty airtight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But over time, physicists have been poking holes in it, finding those little cracks in the demon's logic.
So there's hope for the laws of physics after all.
There might be. See, we're talking about things happening at incredibly tiny scales here. Molecules zipping about at mind-boggling speeds. Even a demon, to do its job, it needs information, right?
Let me guess, it's not enough to just be a fast doorman. It also has to be a master strategist, keeping track of every molecule.
Exactly. It's got to know which molecule is moving fast, which one's slow, and in which direction they're going. And this, my friend, is where things get really, really interesting.
I was waiting for the really interesting part. I knew there had to be a catch somewhere.
Oh, there's a catch, aren't it? See, the first scientist to really throw a wrench into the demon's works was Szilárd back in 1929.
Okay, 1929, so we're a few decades after Maxwell's initial thought experiment. What did Szilárd figure out?
Well, he argued that for the demon to make those split-second decisions about which molecules to let through, it would need to measure their speed, right? And making any measurement, even the tiniest one, requires energy.
So even our little demon can't escape the energy bill.
Nope, not at all. Every time the demon measures a molecule's speed, It's like this tiny little energy bill is going up somewhere else in the system, increasing the overall entropy.
So it's like trying to cool down your coffee by stirring it with a hot spoon. You're just adding more heat to the system as a whole.
Exactly. And this idea that information itself has a physical cost, well, that was further developed by Leon Brillouin a few years later. He really solidified that link between information and thermodynamics. It's like information isn't just this abstract thing. It's bound up with the physical world in this really deep way.
Whoa, okay. So it's not just about the energy the demon uses to open and close the door. It's about the information it gathers too, right? This just keeps getting wilder.
It does. And it gets even wilder when Rolf Landauer enters the picture in 1960. He added yet another layer of complexity to this whole thermodynamic tug-of-war.
Oh, I am here for the complexity. Hit me.
Okay, so Landauer, he was wrestling with the question of what the demon actually does with all that information once it has it. Like, it's not enough to just look at a molecule and say, yep, you're a fast one. It's got to store that information somewhere, even if it's just for a tiny, tiny moment.
So, like, our little demon needs a notepad.
Exactly. And here's the thing about notepads. Even for demons, right? Eventually, they fill up.
Right, and you've got to erase to make room for more notes.
And that's where Landauer's argument comes in. Even erasing information, he said, isn't free. It has an entropy cost.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that forgetting something, that even erasing something actually generates heat, increases entropy?
It does, and that's a really, really big deal. It means even if our demon is super efficient, even if it's got this infinitesimally small notepad, it can't just keep storing information forever, can it?
So eventually, our little demon is going to run out of space, right? Like its delete button gets jammed and the whole system crashes.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where another physicist, Charles Bennett, came in back in 1982 to deliver what you might call the knockout punch to the demon.
So what you're saying is, even a demon with the world's tiniest notepad, it can't escape the laws of physics forever.
Exactly. Bennett, he basically said that the demon can't just keep storing infinite information. Eventually it has to hit that delete button, right? Clean up that notepad. And as we've established, even erasing information, that has a cost. It generates heat, increases entropy.
It's like the demon is constantly trying to tidy up, but it's just creating more mess somewhere else in the process.
That's a great way to think about it. So the original Maxwell's demon, that one, yeah, it's probably not breaking any laws anytime soon.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Maxwell, he stumbled onto something much bigger than just a thought experiment about molecules. He hit upon this deep connection between information, energy, and reality itself.
Okay, so it's less about a demon breaking the laws of physics and more about us humans maybe needing to rethink those laws a bit.
You got it. The original demon, that idea might have some holes in it, but it opened up a whole new way of thinking about things, especially in the last few decades, as we've been able to build things at such incredibly tiny scales, like in nanotechnology, right?
Yeah, nanotechnology, building machines as small as viruses. It's mind-blowing. And those tiny machines, they must run into these same limits all the time, right?
All the time. And what's really cool is that some of them even act a bit like Maxwell's demon.
Really? Like mini demons running around in our computers and smartphones. Tell me more about that.
Well, let's take a look at David Lee's work back in 2007. He built this tiny molecular machine, and get this, it uses light to drive a chemical system out of equilibrium.
Out of equilibrium. So not perpetual motion or anything, but still something that seems impossible at our usual human scale, right?
You got it. It still needs energy from somewhere, in this case light, but what's amazing is how it functions. It selectively traps molecules in this higher energy state, kind of like how our demon is trying to trap those fast-moving molecules. It's a great example of how we can kind of sort of mimic what the demon wants to do, even if we can't break the second law entirely.
That's wild. It's like we're getting closer and closer to the edge of what's possible, even if we can't quite cross that line. What about that one-way wall for atoms? That one sounded especially bizarre.
Yeah. That was Mark Raisin's work back in 2008. They use lasers, right, to make this gate for atoms. Imagine a door that only lets you leave a room but never go back in.
Wait, how is that even possible? That just seems wrong.
I know, right? It defies common sense. But at these super tiny scales, our normal intuition just doesn't cut it. And that's the real beauty of Maxwell's demon. It forces us to confront these limits, those places where our understanding of how the universe works, it just kind of breaks down.
It's like it's always there, lurking in the back of our minds, this little voice saying, are you sure you really understand how things work?
Right.
So we've got these almost demons at the nanoscale pushing the boundaries of physics. But what does all this mean for the average person? Why should we care about a demon that can't even exist?
That's the cool part. Even if you never build a nanobot or anything, Maxwell's demon, it reminds us that information, it's not just this abstract thing. It has a real physical weight to it, a cost.
Yeah.
Every email you send, every photo you take, even every thought you have, it all takes up space, requires energy, even if it's a tiny, tiny amount.
Whoa, that's a mind-blowing thought. It's not just about how much storage we have on our devices, it's the information itself that has to exist somewhere that has a cost.
Exactly. And it just highlights how interconnected everything is,
Hmm.
Information, energy, matter, it's all part of the same fabric of reality.
It's a good reminder to not take anything for granted, I think. Our intuition, our common sense, it's often based on a very limited view of the world.
Exactly. Maxwell's demon reminds us that at the edges of our understanding, things can get very, very weird. And it's that curiosity, that willingness to push beyond what we think we know, that's what drives science forward. Even thought experiments that turn out to be wrong, they can lead to amazing discoveries.
It's incredible to think that this thought experiment, cooked up over 150 years ago, is still shaping how we understand the universe, from the smallest particles to the nature of information itself.
It just goes to show you the power of a truly great thought experiment never really dies.
It certainly captured our imaginations today, and I'm sure our listeners have plenty to mull over as they go about their day. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Maxwell's demon. Until next time, keep those brain cells firing. And remember, the universe is a lot stranger and a lot more wonderful than we often give it credit for.